Magandang gabi mga kababayan. Ngayon naman ay magkukwento ako ng katatakutan dito sa aking Wattpad storytelling na pinamagatang Hello Devin, written by Angelwp, Halloween Special. Samahan niyo ulit ako sa isang special episode ng aking Wattpad storytelling. Simulan na natin mga kababayan. Hello Devil by Jian Q. The world truly became different since the emergence of cellular phones. The way we communicate, the way we travel, and the way we interact with other people have been instantaneously changed ever since we were able to text and call from virtually any place on Earth. The Philippines, widely considered to be the world's texting capital, has embraced this technology so much that cell phones have become a sort of status symbol, a statement to how rich or cool a person is. As such, multitudes of accessories and paraphernalia meant to customize a cell phone have become as common as fishbowls in street corners. One of the features of cell phones nowadays is customizable ringtones. A person can now input his own choice of sound that will play whenever there is a phone call. This is where my friend Jay's scary story begins. One night, he and his friends were drinking merrily inside their house along the infamous Balete streets. He had with him the latest cell phone model, which he bought a day before. Since it had been just a day, he hadn't had the time to really tinker with it. One of his friends commented that he should ditch the default ringtone because it was lame. Pare, palitan mo na naman yung ringtone ng phone mo. Pang jologs eh, Paul said, teasing Jay. Eh ano naman ang ipapalit ko dyan? Hindi naman ako mahilig sa music. Jay replied. It was then that Paul browsed through his own phone, eager to give Jay a cool ringtone. When he was about to send a sound file through Bluetooth, he saw in his list a file that he hadn't seen before. It was named The Devil. Staring blankly at his phone, Paul was shaken up by his friends. Uy, ano bang tinitingnan mo? Bakit ang tagal mo mag-send? Jay asked. May ibang file kasi dito. Hindi ko alam kung saan galing. Paul replied. E di i-play mo, said one of their friends. Paul pressed the play button and everyone fell silent as they listened to the recording. It was the sound of a woman screaming for help, while a man with a terrifyingly demonic voice was laughing in the background, as if enjoying the woman's agony. And after 20 seconds, the screaming stops, and the man with the low voice suddenly says, Akala mo hindi ako totoo, ha? Everyone except Jay thought it was a cool and unique tone. Paul sent it to everyone, including Jay, who was clearly reluctant. Ano ka ba pare? Takot ka ba? Ringtone lang yan, assured Paul. Paul tried calling one of his friends, and the night was filled with laughter and amazement. Hindi ko talaga alam kung saan galing ito, pero the best mga pare, remarked Paul. That night, after everyone went home, Jay was busy cleaning up when he heard the scary ringtone. It was Paul. Tol, testing lang. Huwag ka masyadong matakot. Haha, he said. Annoyed and tired, Jay canceled his call and proceeded to his room. Though scared, he was more curious as to where the sound file came from and what was the woman screaming about. He was thinking of rape, but the creepy voice of the man didn't sound like he was trying to grapple down a screaming woman. It sounded as if he was inside the woman. This puzzled Jay, but he was too tired to think of it too much, and eventually he dozed off. The next morning, Jay heard a rumor that in the neighboring village, a woman was found dead in her room, with no evidence of foul play. People were talking of suicide, but a witness, who was the one who reported the incident, said she heard screaming and pleas for help. At first, Jay thought nothing of it and went on with his daily routine. But then, his mom called and he again heard the devilish ringtone. Instead, however, of hearing the same ending they heard the night before, the man in the recording said something different. This freaked Jay out, and after talking to his mom, he decided to erase the tone from his phone. He then called his friends to ask whether there were any changes with their own tones, and all of them said they immediately erased their tones even before they left Jay's house the night before. Surprised, Jay dropped the issue and went to work. That night, while he was preparing to sleep, he couldn't stop thinking about the tone. He remembered the dead woman he heard about. He was wondering whether it was the same with the one in the recording. He fell asleep with those thoughts, and at exactly 3 a.m., he was awakened by something that scared the hell out of him. His cell phone was ringing and the devil ringtone was playing. Frozen and not knowing what to do, he slowly glanced at his phone to see who was calling, and to his shock, the name dead woman appeared. That was enough to drive him nuts. He then ran out of the house, screaming at the top of his lungs. His mom, who was still awake, ran after him, shaking him violently. After a few more moments, he passed out. The next morning, he found himself in a hospital bed with his mother asleep by his side. He woke her up and asked what happened. His mom then said, Tumawag ako ng pare kagabi. Hindi kasi kita magising. Nagsisigaw ka sa kwarto mo, humihingi ka ng tulog, pero pilit mo binibigti sarili mo. Napusas ka, anak. After hearing her story, Jay fainted. After a few months, one of Jay's workmates got hold of the ringtone. This time, the one screaming was now a man. Kung nagustuhan nyo ang aking storya, magkikita muli tayo sa susunod na storya for Halloween special. Pero ito muna ang a little sneak peek para sa susunod na storya. Hanggang sa puli, ito ang Hello, Devil by Gian Q. Kasunod na storya, sneak peek, ang pinamagatang Retreat House by Kate Cruz. Ang ganda naman dito. Perfect ang ambience para sa retreat. Sabi ni Meg kay Thea. Iniligid ni Thea ang mata sa paligid. Maganda ngunit may hindi tama sa loob ni Thea. Uy, natutulala ka dyan. Tinapik ni Meg si Thea. Ha? Ano yun? Bagyang nagulat si Thea kay Meg. Wala naman, ang sabi ko ang ganda dito. Sasabihin sana ni Thea na may nararamdaman siyang kakaiba, ngunit inunahan siya ni Meg. Tumuloy na sila sa mga dormitoryo. Sa ikalawang palapag, ang mga kwarto tutulugan nila. Malaki ang dormitoryo, iba't iba ang laki ng mga silid. Sa kaliwang bahagi ng dormitoryo, karamihan sa mga kwarto ay pang-dalawahan at pang-tatluhan lamang. Parang ospital to bulong ni Mark kay Niel. Tinignan ni Niel ang pasilyong nilalakaran nila. Walang ibang kulay ang mga pader kundi puti. Hindi na naulit ang pagsakit ng ulo ni Mark kinabukasan, ngunit nagkaroon siya ng isang kakaibang panaginip. Nasa sulok sila ng garden, malayo sa iba nilang kaklase. Tinignan ni Mark si Niel, seryoso ito at may bahid na takot ang tono ng pananalita ng kanyang kaibigan. Panaginip? Tanong ni Mark. Oo pare, hindi ko alam kung dapat ba akong mabother dito pero masyado kasing maliwanag yung panaginip ko Parang totoong totoo. Halos pabulong lang ang pagbigkas ni Niel sa huli niyang sinabi. Sa panaginip ko, parang nasa isang hospital room ako, panimala ni Niel. Nakatayo ako malapit sa bintana sa gilid ng kama mo, pero wala ka dun. Bago maghapunan, nagpaalam si Niel na may kukunin sa kanilang kwarto. Pagpasok ni Niel sa kwarto para kunin ang kanyang cellphone sa bag, bumukas ang pinto sa banyo.